Buying a home directly within Bellingham city limits between $400,000 and $500,000 can feel challenging, if not impossible. So in today's video, I'm gonna outline a few nearby places where the $400,000 to $500,000 budget still goes a long way and where you can still get a standalone house with a yard that may fit your lifestyle a little better than having a smaller place within Bellingham city limits. We're gonna start this out with a map tour so you can see where these places are in relation to Bellingham. They're all within 25 to 45 minutes away. I know 45 minutes is a little far, but I'll show you sort of what I mean by this and see if it works for you. We're gonna look at a few active listings in each of these areas, so that way you can see exactly what your budget will get you here, and you can decide for yourself if this might make more sense for you than having a smaller place within Bellingham. If we haven't met yet, my name is Blake Yahtzee. I'm a local real estate agent here. And if you have any questions throughout the course of the video, or you want me to send you a custom list of homes, my number is right here on the screen. It's also down in the description, along with all my other contact information. Then I also have a free relocation guide for Bellingham, Washington. If you want to download it from this QR code, you are welcome to, or it's down in the description as well. Without further ado, let's get into the video. Alrighty, so we're gonna start with a map tour of these places. So the areas that we're going to talk about today are Birch Bay and Blaine, Maple Falls, Sedro-Woolley, and Burlington. So we'll start up near the Canadian border, which will be Blaine and Birch Bay. You can see Birch Bay is right here. This is Birch Bay right there. And then this is Blaine way up right next to the border. And within Blaine sort of city limits, so to speak, there's not as many houses between 400 and 500,000. A lot of them are going to be right around here and in Birch Bay, but technically they have Blaine addresses, so I kind of lumped them together. But Birch Bay is going to be about 29 minutes away from Bellingham, and Blaine is 29 minutes away from Bellingham in Birch Bay, and Blaine is 27 minutes. And even though it's kind of wild because Bellingham is right here, but just because to get to Birch Bay, you're either going on you're just off of I-5 quite a bit, and so it ends up taking longer, even though Blaine is farther away. And then you also have Maple Falls, which is right here. And you get to this by taking Mount Baker Highway out. And so a lot of people that are avid skiers really do actually like living out in Maple Falls because it puts you a little bit closer to Mount Baker. You can get up there a little earlier before everybody else. You don't have to wake up as early to get up there. And so that's one of the reasons that it's quite popular. There's also a lot of houses even below $400,000 in Maple Falls. So you can actually have a house near Bellingham, but it's actually not super close. It's about 43 minutes away. So it's not as close as the other places that we're going to talk about, but it is still a popular place, especially if you have a bit of a lower budget. Then we're going to go south, and this is actually Skagit County. The county line is somewhere right around here. And so Bellingham is in Whatcom County, this is in Skagit, and you have Burlington right here and Sedro-Woolley right here. And what's cool about living in Skagit and then in this area is you're actually not maybe a few minutes longer to Mount Baker to go skiing, but not really because you're going this way instead of coming over this way. And so you just take the back way to get there. And then you're also really close to getting out to Baker Lake. Park Butte is a great hike out this way, as well as just the North Cascades, going over to Diablo Lake, Ross Lake, and things like that. So it's a really cool place to live for that reason. Gets you access to some of the, not that Mount Baker Highway doesn't have really great hikes, but I do think that Highway 20 has better hikes than Mount Baker Highway, in my opinion. Hot take. Anyways, let's jump into talking a little bit more specifically about Blaine and Birch Bay. In total, together, they have a population of around 17,000 people. You have Semiahmoo Resort out here, which is a golf course, country club, and hotel. Kind of just right out on this spit right here. This is the Blaine Harbor right here. And then you are I don't know, 3 minutes from the Canadian border. So you can get up to White Rock really easily. There's a really cool pier right here. Let's see if the photo pulls up. I believe it's one of the longest piers in North America. Pretty sure, don't quote me on that. And then there's tons of great restaurants in White Rock. You can also get up to Vancouver really easily to enjoy all those restaurants that are up there, as well as some of those city amenities that they have, or to see a concert. And then Birch Bay is a little bit more sleepy, especially during the winter. It's definitely busier during the summer. There's some seasonal residents that live here, and it just gets a lot busier in the summer, and then it dies down and is really quiet and local in the winter. You have Point Whitehorn over here, which is really beautiful, and then Birch Bay State Park, which is right along here, and it's a great place to visit. They just attempted the world record for the most people doing a polar plunge, and that was on New Year's Day, which was pretty cool. And Blaine is gonna have more restaurants. They have like a Thai restaurant, Mexican restaurant. They have the Vault Wine Bar, which is really cool. You see Starbucks right there. And then Birch Bay doesn't have as many restaurants, but there are a few. There is Beach Cat Brewing, which is just a brewery, but then they have a food truck outside, which I believe is Lumpia Love. I just ate there a couple weeks ago and it was really, really good. So that is Birch Bay. And then if we go out to Maple Falls, Maple Falls has a population of just under 300 people, so it's definitely pretty small, but you are out in the wilderness. It is really beautiful out here, and it puts you really close to Mount Baker, you can see all these different hikes right here. And then you are close to Glacier. There is a couple restaurants in Glacier, like the Mount Bakery, which is a classic place people stop when they're driving out to go up to Mount Baker. You also have the Fork, which is closer to this way, and then there is another restaurant out there. But as far as grocery shopping goes, you are going to be commuting into Bellingham. So if that 43-minute drive starts to look a little longer because of that, that's totally fair. But you do get a lot more affordability out this way than you do in Bellingham. So now we're going to go south down I-5. About 30 minutes away is Burlington. And this is where I do most of my shopping for groceries and stuff like that. The Costco here is much more tolerable than the one in Bellingham. So it's sort of worth doing a weekend trip to just go to this Costco. It's so much better than the Bellingham one. The Bellingham one is one of the top selling Costcos in the nation. So it's super busy just because of all the people coming down from Vancouver. They have Costco right here. There's a lot of big box stores along here, and Burlington doesn't really feel very neighborhoody or suburban kind of thing until you get into here, sort of in Old Town. And there's a few really good restaurants. My favorite is Jarritos Taqueria. That is my favorite Mexican restaurant in all of Waukesha County. I love the people that run it, and their food is incredible. And then there's also the Fairhaven, which is a sandwich shop, and they also have Asian One Bistro, as well as a variety of other restaurants. They also have a really great Thai. It's called Little Bangkok. That's probably my favorite Thai restaurant in Waukesha. I know everybody loves Juanita's in Bellingham, which it is really incredible, but I really like the guy that owns Little Bangkok, and he serves you every time. So it is just a drive-through though, so you have to order, go pick it up. And Burlington has a population of, I'm gonna cheat here, just under 11,000 people. And then Sedro-Woolley actually has more people than that. I'm gonna cheat again, 12,600 people. And Sedro-Woolley, like we talked about when we were showing you in relation to Bellingham where these places were, it is called the gateway to the North Cascades. So you just go out Highway 20 and you can get to all these various lakes and hikes, and Marble Mount is the last town before you go over the North Cascades and you get to Ross Lake National Area, which is gorgeous. There are cabins there, fill up super quick, and you can get to the other side of the mountains from there, and it's a really, really pretty highway. But what's cool about Sedro-Woolley is it does have quite a bit more industry than you might think for a town of that size. Even though it's a lot smaller than Bellingham, I would almost argue per capita, it has more employment options just because of the Janicki Industries. Janicki is a family that basically, I don't know if they actually founded Sedro-Woolley, but they're one of the main families that's lived in Sedro-Woolley forever. They used to be a logging family, and now they own all sorts of different manufacturing, engineering. I don't even know exactly what they do, but I have a friend that lives in Sedro-Woolley and he works for Janicki and he's an engineer. So he makes really good money, and then houses are definitely more affordable in this area, which is really cool. And you are 35 minutes away from Bellingham in Sedro-Woolley. Alrighty, so now we're gonna look at some listings starting up Birch Bay Blaine area. You can see this one's Birch Bay proper. This one's starting to get a little closer to Blaine, but would probably still be considered Birch Bay in my opinion. Whoa. And then this is also pretty much Birch Bay as well. So as you can see, within Blaine city limits, there wasn't any that popped up or any that caught my attention, more likely. So this is a 3-bed, 1-bath, just under 900 square feet, and it's listed at $455,000. So it is smaller than I was hoping to find in Birch Bay, but you'll see in a second sort of why it has the price tag it does. First of all, it has a great backyard, and then it also has really great finishes. Subway tile, nice newer cabinets, newer appliances, butcher block countertops. It also has newer LVP, and it has a brand new mini split, so you get heating and cooling in there. And it's actually designed really well where it doesn't feel as small as 900 square feet sounds, especially when you consider 3 bedrooms. That seems like all the bedrooms would be super duper small. And then you can see some of the grass is still kind of growing in. They even have a little chicken coop, it looks like, right there, but a gray backyard. And that's what $455,000 gets you in Birch Bay Blaine area. This one's listed at $485,000. And this neighborhood is pretty popular for first-time home buyers because you get a 3-bed, 2-bath house. It's just over 1,000 square feet, but it lives a little bigger than just 1,000 square feet. You get a 2-car garage and you get a nice yard, and it's listed at $485,000. Here's your living room right here, which is really nice space to hang out with friends, family, watch some TV. There's the kitchen and dining area, newer appliances. And let's get outside so you can see that backyard. There's the primary suite. Looks like they have a king-size bed in there, so it's a good-sized primary suite. Bedroom number 2, bathroom number 2, and then bedroom number 3 and bathroom, or I don't know. Anyways, you get the idea. Nice 2-car garage. This is on the side of the house, so you could probably park a boat here or something like that. They have barbecues, and then you do have a good sized backyard on this side. They have a play set, trampoline, and then you have a little patio out there as well. So that is Birch Bay, $485,000. And before we go anywhere else, as a bonus, I did include a couple listings actually, well, one's actually in Bellingham city limits, and then, which is this one. It is a townhome, and the HOA is $134.59 a month. It's listed at $489,000, and they do have some builder incentives as well going on. So if they used to, I believe that they still do, where they'll buy down your rate, so that way you have a lower monthly payment and a lower interest rate on your loan. And these are right behind the Bellingham Costco. See, it's all brand new LVP, brand new appliances, really good spaces. They're 1,225 square feet, 2 bed, 2.25 bath. And this would get you right inside Bellingham for under $500,000 in a brand new home. It's just a townhome. It doesn't really have a yard, but you are close to trails. I mean, everywhere in Bellingham, you are pretty much close to trails. But yeah, it does say special financing available. And then this one is outside of Bellingham city limits, but Sudden Valley, if you are in the $400,000 to $500,000 range and you want to be as close to Bellingham as possible in an actual standalone house, Sudden Valley is going to be your friend. And the one thing to know about Sudden Valley is it does have an HOA that's $156 a month. So that can affect your affordability a little bit. And sometimes with these $400,000 to $500,000 houses, you don't get an actual yard. This one, you do sort of have a front yard, which is really nice. You could probably fence that in, but you don't have a backyard because this home is on a hill. But in Sudden Valley, there is community trails, community dog park, and plenty of places to walk. So even if you have a dog, you definitely have places to go and get outside. So this home is 3 beds, 1.75 bath, 1,334 square feet. And you can see really nice spaces here. And that is Sudden Valley. So those are a couple options. There are a couple options within Bellingham city limits. So before we go down to Skagit and check out Burlington and Sigiwilli, we're gonna look at Maple Falls. Maple Falls, if you want a newer house between $400,000 and $500,000, that is the place where I would look. This one's 3 beds, 2 baths, 1,253 square feet. This one is built in 2025, so it's brand new. I don't believe anyone's lived in it. And it's listed at $415,000. You would have to do some landscaping. I don't know if there's actually a washer and dryer here. All brand new. And that grass is definitely AI generated or fake, or it's not actually there. So just be aware of that. That's $415,000 for a over 1,200 square foot home. And then this one is listed by one of my buddies at my brokerage, Jed Homes. This one is 2 beds, 2 baths, 1,400 square feet, also for $415,000. And this one was built in 2022, so it's a few years old. Someone has lived in it. But as you can see, I believe these are quartz countertops. It's got the subway tile backsplash, really big space for dining and entertaining. Primary suite, office, good sized garage, and yeah, there it is. And a really great fully fenced backyard. So you get quite a bit more affordability in Maple Falls. Sometimes you do have neighbors that have a ton of cars, but overall, it's a really cool place to live, especially if you're okay with a little bit of a commute. Well, you will have to commute to Bellingham for groceries, regardless of whether you work in Bellingham or you work remote. And then now we'll go to Burlington. We'll look at this one that's pending. So in this price range, I think it is important to note that houses, if they're in good shape, they will go quickly. So making sure to be in contact with your agent, have property alerts set up is really important in this price range, because time is of the essence for the better houses in this price range. You can see this one comes on a sort of a jumbo lot. You might even be able to subdivide that and sell it off later, or build another house if you wanted. And you can see newer LVP, good space. This one's 2 beds, 1 bath, almost 1,400 square feet, newer appliances. And this one's listed right at $500,000, I believe. Or $465 for this one. then the other one, this one is an active listing. This one is listed at exactly 500,000. That's 4 beds, 1 3/4 baths, and 1,800 square feet. But as you can see, they think you might need a rehab loan for this. So you couldn't use a government-backed loan. You might need a special loan, and you'll see in a second why. It looks like someone did do a lot of this work themselves. They bought pretty expensive cabinets and butcher block countertops and a deep farmhouse sink. Has real hard wood. They may just have ran out of money while they were doing it. Good sized yard. Lots of potential with this one. So 1,800 square foot house for $500,000. 30 minutes from Bellingham. So now we're going over to Cedar Woolley. This one's $495, 3 bed, 2 bath, 1,259 square feet. Does have sort of a funky layout, but needs probably some paint. I don't hate it though. It's just a lot of colors. Some new LVP or hardwood floors would go a long way in this house. And it doesn't really have the greatest yard, as you can see, would be my only complaint with that house. So let's see what else we got in Cedar Woolley. This one's listed at $490,000. What I really like about Cedar Woolley is the fastest growing city in Skagit County. And so I think investing into it now, you would see quite a bit of appreciation over the next 5 years, which would be really cool just because they have such strong industry, with Janicki having so many endeavors in the area and lots of people moving out this way because of more affordability. So this one's 3 beds, 1 3/4 bath, and 1,125 square feet. You can see some of it's been updated. Most of it's been updated. And they do have a great backyard at this house. So if you have a couple dogs or you just want to have a really awesome backyard, this is a great pickup for $485,000. So that is the video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope that kind of showed you some of the options around Bellingham, that you get a little bit more affordability. If you do want me to put a custom list together of all the homes in any of these specific areas, feel free to send me a text or give me a call, and that way we can chat about exactly what you're looking for, and I can really customize the search for you. And don't forget to download my relocation guide to Bellingham right here on the QR code or down in the description below. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video, and I will see you in the next one.